and I believe Cynthia is the secretary over there, and I'll share my screen. Can you guys now see my screen?
Yeah.
Yep. So let's get started. So first thing first, we will go to campaign that we have. Maybe from the newest member. Okay, newest member. Before we really started the campaign, we have SLA and external SLA that we put over here to make sure that we can track it, to make sure that we can document and see the progress on each of the SLA over there, which is we created by campaign. So every SLA here, we have campaign that working on that. So let's get started to the campaign update. First one is HR inquiry optimization one dot.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Andre. So this is the update for this campaign, inquiry campaign. So the last inquiry conversion rate is 6.16%, and last request conversion rate is 50%. The number of inquiry training session is 6. Number of this follow-up still 2. The number of visit assistants is 2. Still, newest inquiry conversion rate is 10.58%, and the newest request conversion rate is 55%. So there is a very significant improvement on this campaign. So thank you so much for your help, guys, for your work, HAR. We are almost but not really almost, still like a lot of effort to achieve our SLA, but this is a really good improvement. Keep going. Yeah, Bim Salabim ada kadabra convert.
Okay, thank you, Nadine. So I saw that actually we've been improving from the last three meeting, yeah, from 3% into 6 into 10.58 here, and I believe your main pivot or pivot of this is the inquiry training, right, Nadine? Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
sorry, Andre, I cannot hear you clearly since my speaker is, I don't know.
Nadine.
Please repeat, Andre.
Okay, so I believe the main pivot that you do is the inquiry training, right, Nadine? So what will you do on the guest follow up and visit assistance over here?
Basically, for the guest follow up, the guest that get back to us because we following up is actually increased, but the inquiry that we follow up being converted is not yet. As yet, we haven't got any inquiry convert because of the follow up. Actually, only get the guest back to us. Yeah, maybe I will think to pivot this one.
Okay, I saw that actually there's the last scrum on Saturday, on Sunday, Monday with PI. I think Jing mentioned about the on-site visit. I think that can be one of the pivot here. How can you actually document and see how many on-site visits that we have already did, and to put it over there and to track it, how many actually inquiry, what on-site visit that we have actually done. How about it, Nadia?
Okay, so basically adding the inspection into the funnel, yeah, Andre.
Yep. How about?
Okay, yeah. Would be great.
Okay. How's the progression on that, Nadine? I saw that you actually the one who in charge to document all of the on-site visit. How is the progress of that?
So far, I haven't document for all each HAR, but from my side, I already did like 10 inspection and got 4.
Sorry, Nadine, I cannot hear you. Is it only me or only everyone?
Bisa dengar aku nggak? Bisa dengar aku nggak?
Can you hear Nadine here?
Okay.
No.
Okay. Please repeat, Nadine.
Okay. So I haven't collect the inspection documentation from other HAR, but from my side, I already did 10 inspections and produce 4 new deals.
Okay. For nudis from time infection on your side, yeah.
Yes.
I think yeah, for doing this meantime, I think what we can do is to create a follow up paper for that. It's like
Yeah.
not
Actually, the paper is already exists.
Mhm.
I will attach it in the card as well. But
Okay.
that's 10 inspection is not only Facebook, yeah. It's both Airbnb and Facebook.
Yes, sir. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So maybe Cynthia would like to help me to tag Nadine here to put her what's private on site visit inspection to be on there, so we can track how many on site inspection that actually finish or impact to the booking that we have over here. So thank you, Nadine. So you attach as well about the HR inquiry workshop. Would you like to give us the update as well?
Okay, yes. So yeah, based on your latest comment, so I have attached the HR inquiry workshop paper. So all the progression and the activities of the workshop can be seen there. So far, the activities is inquiries related discussion, and then analyze, turn down, and booking converted conversation, and then answering inquiries exercise, and then inquiries response feedback. So if you guys in HR, please, I emphasize if you answer like one inquiry, so because one inquiry can be answered by maybe 3 HAR, and if you see that one of us is not that what is it optimized to answer the inquiry, you can screenshot it and attach and give the person feedback. And then the schedule so far Monday on 9 a.m. to 10, as well as Wednesday. On Monday we are more focusing on Airbnb inquiry, and on Wednesday we are more focusing on Facebook. And then open for everyone in who wants to join, and then open for everyone to come and sharing new materials, and open for feedback and activity suggestion if you want to add in the inquiry workshop. That's all, Andre.
Okay, thank you, Nadine. So my comment would be like thank you first because you have conduct at least 6 inquiry workshop that we have done in the last 3 weeks. First of all, and we have already we also have a fixed schedule here, which is Monday and Wednesday. And I was thinking about this. So if you remember, if we want to make everyone learn about HR, I think this is the best way how can actually them be the voluntary and come to HR Scrum. Let's say the yes, sir.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, like if we want to facing the high season in December or November, we can start to invite the what is that? The intern to let's say, hey, come on, let's join on this. On the other side, I'm also creating the HR library, which is it's to document the best practice on reservation, best practice on direct reservation, and Airbnb reservation. So that will be helps, and this will be the exercise on that. So
Okay.
I think that's collaborative. Yes, sir.
Does anybody record these inquiry sessions?
Uh,
I think you should record it.
ah,
The reason why is because as you guys are here right now. You're going to be more and more skilled. New people coming in are going to be further away. So there's going to be things that are obvious to you that are not going to be obvious to somebody like Maria, for example, right? Who's brand new here. So at some point, you'll probably see that you don't need to maybe have these things as often anymore to talk about inquiries because they'll just be like we don't need to have chairing sessions anymore to teach you how to chair because it'll just be sort of natural. So it's important, I think, you document it and you build up like a master class of all the modules. And when new people come in, super easy to train, right? You just ask them to watch it. And Nadine, for your case, it becomes super easy. Instead of okay, right now you're looking at it as a chapter. What's your inquiry before? What's your inquiry after? Before you can give it to an individual, right? What's your conversion rate before? how many videos have you watched, and what's your
Uh,
conversion rate after. Now, what
Mm.
they should see is that the more videos they watch, the higher the inquiry thing goes. So you can delegate it really easily once you've created a documentation of your classes. So it's okay if you haven't done it. Start doing it, upload it, and put it on a playlist so it becomes more easy. Yeah,
okay, thank you, sir.
yeah.
Thank you for the feedback, sir. I think but Cynthia will need your help again to write this down about the feedback from Jing to record every inquiry workshop. Yeah, that we have. Please put it on the paper, yeah, Pak Cynthia. Thank you. Is there anything else on this campaign, guys? If no, we can move to the other campaign. The second one is loyalty program from Kak Cynthia. Please, Kak Cynthia, your update on this.
Okay, thank you, Andre. So I think for the last conversion rate, we got at 30%, and then the guys could be message send was 37%. The guest the outreach is 12%, and the news conversion rate is 35%. Right now, there's the update from me, so we can see from the last one, it higher, 5% higher, since when the guest check out, they still have like 2 weeks for leaving review. So yeah, I think we could say it why it up and down. But yeah, actually for the next plan, I'd like to have some new pivot. So I will give the update here.
Mm-hmm. But Cynthia, what is the update on Facebook review? Do you have any other new pivot about that?
Yep, actually, the new pivot will be applied to all of the campaign, including Facebook, Airbnb, and Booking.com, also Instagram as well. So and agent. So yeah, right now there is no update from the Facebook TV.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I'm cracking. Hello,
Yep, I can hear you.
hello,
Oh, good, Andre. I can hear
hello,
you.
gang, gang,
Yeah,
gang, gang. Guys, sorry, I cannot hear.
Andre, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes.
Sorry,
Awesome.
sorry, sorry, sorry. Eh, so what I heard is Mbak Cynthia wanted to pivot on all the ano ya, on the all of the campaign that we have
Okay.
over there.
Yep, exactly.
So the pivot that most successful for now is about the guest re-outreach, which is you have done 12 re-outreach over there, and that what I believe is that makes the conversion is going up higher, right, Mbak Cynthia?
Yep,
Yeah. Okay, so from that, if you have any newest pivot that you want to do, please also put it on the P3, or you want to remove what's there, just
sure.
or add or remove over there, so we know what's the current pivot that you have over there.
Yep, thank you, Andre.
From the other team, do you have any comment about this? Nope, nope, nope. Okay, I'll move to the other campaign, is guest engagement over here, which is it from me. So the last communication rate is 5 stars. The check-in rate also 5 stars. And we've been doing morning message 27 times. And I actually have no other. I actually want to put here, if you want to see. I'm trying to make a new pivot about asking their trip ahead and extend, which is it's actually idea from Batista. So maybe Tista will be the one who in charge on this pivot, because I believe on her research plan is about the guest engagement and asking about their trip, and I had to make a pivot. So that moreover, it will also creating the guest engagement over here. But if you want to see about the newest communication rate and check-in rate, which is it's going lower because 5 is the one the maximum one number, but the newest communication rate, if you want to, if we check, is going down into 4.82 and also 4.92. So that is actually the update. What I believe happening is that some of the gas is coming from Airbnb, and we trying to move it on the what's WhatsApp, but it makes like double people that check it. So we need kind of good delegation on the hosting or air supporting. So it's not creating two people that communicate on the same two people on this team communicate to the same people on that want to check in today. What happened is the 2 days ago or 3 days ago is I text people from me Villa, if I'm not mistaken. So there is a lot of people also that text them. So I think we need to improve that kind of thing. So make an easier things to be delegated, or if someone has already there, please also you can check on the bigger who is actually in charge for this kind of guest. If we want, if we can actually check it on the bigger as well, who is the host and which communication channel that we use. It will makes easier on this. So actually, that's the update on this. Do you have any comment about this campaign? Nope, 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 nope. We'll continue again to wait. Community support 1.0. So this is actually the update. So the last bad review rates is 0%. We have no bad reviews, and the last guest bad experience is 0%. And the bad experience on the B2, if you see bad experience that already reported, is now into 100% because we have two bad review, but no bad review, but just about bad experience. So out of 27 that already successful check-in, we have two that actually experiencing the bad experience. The first one is from, I'm sorry, I'm not really remember the first one, but the second one is from the tortoise again. The first one is from Visca. The second one is from Villa Tortoise. So if you see the bad review that already reported, which is I already report 100% of this bad experience to the community. So it will helps the community to improve their service, or it will helps the community to improve their it's like make a clear vision on and what is clear expectation from the guests as well. So if let's say the community gave us the update on the Villa Tortoise, that which is actually the construction is now work again. So we have to make sure about this and create it on the listing with whether if what happened on the construction, so we can make a clear expectation between the guests and also between us. So that's actually it, the update. And oh, sorry. And the finance report, I actually still find some what friction over here. I've talked with Joseph as well about this, and he haven't any give us any report about this because Mo always delegate these things to Joseph, but I don't think Joseph give this update yet. So I'm trying to make this clear at least for this month, so we can have a clear finance report on this month and update it over here because it will all related to total reservation and direct reservation, and about the payout and weight percentage that happen on every reservation over there. I think that's all the campaign for today. Do you have any comments before we move to discussion management? Yes, Kak Cynthia.
Yes, thank you, Andre. It's actually about the finance one. Okay, should we still have this as on the HR part or on the finance? We left it to the finance.
Because this is from the HR service, Mbak Cynthia. So we want to create direct booking. Let's say if the one who in charge to create the on payout is HR, and also the things that related on the alteration or what is every finance things that happen, like alteration, shorten, refund, and something other is the one that the service is from HR, and it is for the finance. So we still have to put it down there as our SLA. What do you think?
Okay. Since I think there's me that in charge here, and I haven't had any discussion with you about this, I suggest about the sub
Mhm.
discussion.
Okay, please put it over there. I will have invite you and Joseph as well. Yeah. Thank you, Mbak Cynthia. Yes, sir.
All right. So there's a let me connect the dots because it seems like they're still sort of scattered. So HAR
I'm
report.
sorry, guys, to interrupt, but I can't hear anything from Jing.
Really?
Its connection interrupted here.
Please refresh Cynthia. I think I can hear Ching.
Okay. I'll wait for Shantia to come back. All right. Okay. What about now, Shantia?
Yes, better.
Okay. So this is kind of like the structure of what we have so far. HR reports the alterations and the anomalies that result in a payment um, misdirection. Okay, I think we already have classified what those are, like early checkouts, alterations, cancellations. This type of activity results in an anomaly. Then there is no finance, right? Finance is actually a service run by community. Okay, so community will have a person, a brar, who is paid at the moment to essentially look, identify, and tell owners that these are the issues that we found with your payouts. We want to do this proactively now instead of reactively so that the owners don't lose trust in the way that we manage their money. All right. So if they've been overpaid, we tell them you've been overpaid. If they are underpaid, we tell them that they're underpaid. At one point in a month, I forgot which day it is, there will be just a settlement. So if we've accidentally overpaid somebody, a borrower will settle it with the person we've overpaid by removing funds from a future payout, and vice versa. If somebody's been underpaid, we'll pay them back. Okay, so that's basically the layout. All right. Joseph is an intern. He's going to be transferring his duties to Abrar, but Abrar is a what do you call it? A probation candidate right now. HAR just needs to like make sure that we flag all the things that are irregular, and then community is in charge of making sure that this does not impact owner trust, that this does not like create a issue with owners, and so the finance part actually works inside community. Okay, so that's essentially Abrar's job now, right? Joseph will train Abrar on how to do that. There's a second thing that Abrar does. You guys don't need to really know about it, but I'll just tell you anyway. This is more accounting. So the second part is he just tracks and makes sure that payment from Airbnb, from Booking.com, from direct payments actually arrives into our bank accounts and into the partner bank account. So that's what we call reconciliation. That is a finance job, and that is a little bit separate from community. Okay, but Abrar will do that too. So he's kind of like in two different chapters, I guess. Yeah, yeah, Shantia.
Yes, thank you, sir. So I'm sorry, it's a kind of like a little bit out of topic, but actually I'm still working on the CSM on the accounting, so
Oh,
I don't need to. Yeah, I still work for the last several months here about the accounting on the CSM because if there is any weird percentage or maybe that payout hasn't been found, the Trello will be automatically mention me. And then I used to do that for the last 3 months. And so since Abrar here, so I don't need to do
talk
that.
to this one is a system issue, right? So Bayou has it done a certain way. From what I understand, HAR is the first to detect this anyway. So it doesn't make sense for HAR to pass it over to another chapter to then pass back, right? So it's sort of like if you see trash, pick it up rather than leave trash all over the ground and then have somebody go and find all the trash later because that part makes it harder. So I do believe that part of the detection. Let me go over to Andre. Andre, I think you had something to say about that.
No, I was thinking that is it able to delegate or not? Because
You can ask Bayou. Ask Bayou about this one, right? because from his point of view, HAR should be the one doing the accounting because you guys will see it when it happens. Um, if somebody else does the accounting, they have to go through all the records and they have to ask you too, right? So then you do the work twice. They eventually you're gonna have to do it anyway. So it's better that we just do it as we see it rather than anything else. But within that scope, Cynthia, there could be something that you could delegate. You could just probably say, "Hey, Abrar, take a look at this," right? And then he could just do the follow up work. "Hey, Abrar, take a look at this," and he could do the follow up work. That I think can be delegated. Check with Bayou because he designed the system, and I believed when I heard it, I was like, "Yeah, that makes a lot of sense." But I'm not really sure because I didn't design the system, right, with case management and everything. Um, from what I understand, the current arrangement with finance inside a community with HR on accounting, it sort of makes sense, right? Um, the finance inside community, their job is to make sure they get fewer of these things coming over to you guys, right? So you guys are insulated from owners. You should never get complaints from owners like, "Where's my money?" Right? The finance guy in community should be handling that for you. They should be telling them where the person's money is before they need to ask. So that's what you can expect from community. And also, stupid questions like "Where's my money this month?" or whatever that you can check on bigger. It makes sense because community should be the ones teaching the owners to use the tools so that they don't need to ask us silly questions about things that they can do themselves. So it really makes sense to put finance part of community. Uh, so long story short, Cynthia, ask Bayou, and if you can, I would say delegate more to Abrar if you can. Right? If you could say, "Hey, Abrar, can you just look after this one? There's a payment thing. Here's the information. Here's the reservation. Take a look at it." Yeah? And then you can focus on other things.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. I think conclusion that we have is for now the finance is doing the delegation from Joseph to Abrar, and we have also connected a workflow over here about the community support the partners and HR support the finance over here, and finance is the one to support the community as well. So thank you for the explanation over there. We are going to move to the discussion management. Discussion management HAR. So actually, I saw Ching is brought out about this topic in every chapter, I guess, because on the other chapter as well. I think that's the first one that we can what discuss for now.
Yes.
Maybe I will offer to Ching about this.
Okay. So I brought this up, like you said, we are we're in a good position right now for everyone who is here. Okay. So we're probably going to be getting more interns again and regularly because of our heroic efforts with BBE Talk. And this is a good thing for Bukit Vista. So, what it also means is this: we have an obligation to make sure that interns get a quality experience here. And I think for you guys, it's an opportunity to learn how to lead. And I think leadership is one of those things that when you do it really well, it's actually enormously satisfying. Okay, but I currently don't see it here in this chapter yet, as Andre mentioned. So it's pretty normal, I guess. I guess nobody has sort of thought this over carefully. So I want to demonstrate a few things on how you can lead. Okay, so the first thing is delegation. How do you delegate an SLA? Let's go over to Andre. Oh no, wait. Let's go over to Dista. Dista, how can you delegate an SLA? How would you
Delegate,
expect somebody to delegate an SLA to you?
if you have a SLA, but there is no one in charge to take the responsibility to get the SLA.
Right. But there are people responsible for it. So how would you expect, let's say, somebody who's responsible for an SLA to delegate to you?
Maybe if I have a time to help them, like for example, Mbak Cynthia have a campaign for the loyalty, and then I have a time to help her.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Let's talk about that then, Cynthia. How would Dista be able to help you on an SLA?
Okay, sir. First of all, I will ask Dista about what have we done, and then I will ask about
her opinion, and then what can we do better for the campaign or maybe the program that has been run.
Okay, all right, very good. So let's go to Andre. Let's go to Maria. Maria, have you been delegated any responsibilities yet for this chapter?
I think we are still discussing about it, sir.
Okay, all right. So let's go to Andre. Andre, I would expect at this point within the first week that new people are given some responsibilities, right? They shouldn't just kind of be like sort of floating around. The fastest way for somebody to learn is to just say, you're now in charge of this. Do you have any ideas of what you would like to delegate to Maria and to Dista?
I think yes, sir. The first one is to Maria. Is to I think the first one is to Dista is to working on Facebook. I have already talked with Lilis yesterday about Facebook optimization, and Maria will be help on hosting and review management.
Okay, great.
Actually said about that, and what's on my mind is already put Nadine with Dista and Maria with me and Cynthia, because me and Cynthia is the one who in charge for the hosting and also review system. And about the how can we actually delegate is make sure that they follow our daily activity about working on SLA. That's the first thing first. And the other hand, put it also on telling them about what is the current stat, what is the goal that we want to achieve, what the hypothesis and pivot that we have currently, to let them know about, and they will not reinvent the wheel if we have already done these things. And if we tell them about the current stat, what the pivot that we have already done, so they will not reinvent the wheel as well.
Okay. Very good. I want to show you guys something, okay? So this is all very good. I'm going to give you a little bit of a theoretical sort of understanding of how to delegate an SLA, and then we will practice this for real, okay? Very good answers. Everyone has, I think, a good idea. The explanation that I gave to I think a few other chapters is like this. I think I talked about this with Shinthia yesterday. With delegation, it's a little bit like capoeira, okay? Capoeira is a game where two players go into a circle and they try to kick each other, but they don't actually really kick each other. They just sort of demonstrate, I could have kicked you, and you need to get out of the way before you get kicked and come up with a counter kick. So if you've ever watched capoeira, it's actually quite beautiful. You should be seeing a bunch of near misses all the time, right? So why does that happen? Why is it like, these people are able to play this game and nearly miss hitting each other? One of my first masters in capoeira said a very simple thing. He said, when you play this game, you kick somebody, that's your fault. If you get kicked, that's your fault. I think that principle applies to delegation too. If you are not asking for delegation, that is your fault. You're coming into a workspace and just cruising around, not clear what you need to do. You need to ask your leaders for delegation, right? What is it that I can do to be effective here? Remember, we're here to positively transform. So you're not going to positively transform by hiding or not knowing what you're going to do. So you need to ask for the delegation. If you're the one delegating, you need to delegate as well. So both parties kind of need to move towards the middle part. So that's just kind of setting the stage, okay? If you don't have anything to do, ask for delegation. If you're in charge, you need to delegate too, so that both of you meet in the middle, okay? All right, that's one. The second thing, let me explain kind of like theoretically what is an SLA, right? An SLA is some sort of input that comes in. We do some sort of activity, and then we get some sort of output, okay? That's it. That's what an SLA actually is when you think about it. You get some input, you do your activity, and you get an output. And the SLA is what is your output quality based on what you get as input, okay? So there's two ways you can divide an SLA. You can divide it in parallel, or you can divide it sequentially. And I'll show you what that means. In parallel means that, let's say you have player one, right? Or player one gets the input, activity, and output. Oh, okay, player's gone. All right. I'll need Andre to share the screen again.
Sorry, sir. Sorry.
Okay.
I will help to share.
Okay.
Thank you, Cynthia.
All right, let's actually change it to a better name. Let's say this is a parallel delegation. Okay, so basically the mentor has input, activity, and output, and the mentee, say the intern, they take the same input, they do the same activity, and they get the same output, right? So that's a parallel type situation. So what does that look like? Let's say, for example, I don't know, like let's say two bakers, okay? Let's say I'm a baker, okay? So as a baker, I make dough, I shape the dough, I bake the bread. When I bring an intern, the intern does the same thing. They make dough, they shape the dough, they bake the bread, right? So they follow the same process as I follow. That's a parallel. So maybe they do it parallel and you can divide it by, let's say, time, right? So this is a way to delegate. Let's say you do the morning shift, I do the evening shift. We do the same role, but now we split the job, okay? The other way to do a parallel is to divide it by area, okay? So you do all the inquiries in region 1, I do all the inquiries in region 2, okay? The other way is maybe by channel, okay? So I do all the inquiries in Facebook, you do all the inquiries in Airbnb, but we're always taking inquiries and we're bringing them into a reservation, for example, okay? So this is what we call a parallel delegation. The mentor and the mentee do the same thing, but you just split it according to a different region or a different time, or you could just do it alternating, right? I take an inquiry, you take an inquiry. I take an inquiry, you take an inquiry, like that. That's another way you can parallel delegate, okay? Alternating. Okay, let's see if anybody can figure this out. Andre, what's a sequential delegation?
Actually, no, no, sir.
Okay, let's go to Cynthia. Cynthia, what do you think a sequential delegation is?
Oh wait. Okay. I think it's more like we delegate our work that is not parallel. I mean, like, if right now I'm doing to reach out the guests, and then I will delegate it, for example, to Maria, and then yeah, I will just let Maria do that.
Okay.
Am I right?
Kind of. Okay, this is more of a sequential delegation, right? So let's say the input from the real world comes in, and then the mentor activity is the first stage, right? The mentor activity then goes into the intern activity, and then that produces the output. Or you could have the input from the real world, and you can have the intern activity here, and then the mentor activity happens here, and then this is the output. Okay? Does that make sense? So let's go back to that analogy. Let's go back to the baking analogy. So if I'm a baker, I make dough, I shape the dough, I bake the bread, right? In parallel, I train my assistant, my mentee, my intern to make the dough, form the dough, shape the dough, and bake the bread. In sequential, the intern makes the dough, the intern shapes the dough, I bake the dough, and I'm responsible for the output of the bread. Okay? So that's sequential delegation. Okay. So you can think of, let's say, an SLA that you do. Maybe, let's say, Cynthia right now. Maybe she takes her idea of, I don't know, review management, her loyalty program. She has step 1, step 2, step 3. So maybe instead of doing step 1, step 2, step 3 all herself, she goes step 1, step 2, I delegate to Maria. Step 3, I do. And then in the end, we both are responsible for the result. Okay? Now, there is a difference between each one. Let's go about ZPD measurement, okay? If your mentee has a high ZPD, a high competency for this particular role, which delegation form should you use, actually? Let's go to Cynthia. If your mentee has high ZPD, high competency fast work velocity, where should you put them?
Um, Wait. Uh, it should be on. Oh wow. Actually, I'm thinking first about sequentially, but I'm also thinking about parallel.
Okay,
So,
let's go to Andre. Andre, what do you think? If you have a mentee who has high capability, high ZPD, zone of proximal development, right? If the mentees don't know what that is, mentors, please teach them what ZPD means. It's very fundamental. Yeah. Andre, where should you put an intern with high ZPD?
I think on a sequentially because we wanted to make sure that we want them to again make their own activity on this.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's go to Cynthia. Would you agree or disagree with Andre?
I disagree.
Okay, what do you think it should be?
Parallel.
Right. And why do you put them in parallel, Cynthia?
Yes, because if the mentee has the same ZPD with us, and then she or he could have the same standard work with us, so I think it will be more for the output. It will be higher.
Correct, correct. If you have more people in parallel, the output of the work will happen faster, right? So, Andre, if you have, there will be less coordination too as well. So, let's say, for example, I have 2 skilled bakers in my bakery. Then I can say, you guys just work from start to finish on this run, all, right? I don't need to just do one step and then, delegate the next step to you. But if you have somebody with low ZPD, let's say back to the bread analogy, if somebody doesn't know how to actually form the dough, then they can only make dough or they can only bake the bread. Then if they have low ZPD, you put them in sequential. So it limits their ZPD. They don't need to have a wide range of things that they're competent at. You just need to be competent at one thing, and then that allows the progress to happen too as well. Okay, then let's talk about low ZPD, okay? Let's say we have a low ZPD intern. Which process sequentially, where should the mentor be in the pipeline? Should they be at the top of the process or they should be at the bottom of the process, at the beginning or the end? Let's go to Andre. If you have an intern that has, let's say, unreliable, skills, where should the mentor go? At the end or at the front? Let's go to Andre.
The intern or the mentor, sir?
The mentor. The mentor. Where should the mentor go? If you have an intern of, let's say, unpredictable skill or quality.
If the SLA, the mentor should be still on responsibility on the result of the.
Great. So should they be at the front or should they be at the end?
Be at the end.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go over to Cynthia. What do you think? Is Andre correct or not?
I think this is a hard question.
No, it's an easy question.
I would like to mentor will be on the. Oh my god, skip to this time maybe.
Okay, Dista, what do you think?
Yeah.
If you're being delegated for quality of an SLA, let's say as an intern, should you, as an intern's perspective, should you be at the top at the beginning or at the end?
For the very first time, I think I will choose the mentor for the beginning, and then
the mentor at the beginning. Okay,
yeah.
All right. Let's go to Maria. Maria, do you think the mentor should be at the beginning of the funnel? Or wait, let me just make it easier so that there's no confusion, right? Let's just say there's a choice A, and this is choice B, right? So, Dista, which choice do you think the mentor should be at? Is it choice A or B? Which is the correct way to delegate, A or B? Okay, all right. I'll go to Maria while Dista and Cynthia discuss it. Which one do you think is
For
the
me,
correct way to delegate, A or B?
I think it's B, sir.
Okay, Maria thinks it's B. Let's go back to Dista then. Okay, Andre goes with A. Okay. And then Dista?
Yeah, I would. But maybe I would prefer A.
Okay, Dista says A, and Cynthia?
I will go to. I will go to. Oh my god. Sir,
But this
can
is
I ask
same.
first?
Sure.
Like, okay. For the A option, is it the intern actually responsible for the output?
Well, everybody's responsible for the output, but the intern is the last stage,
Working
right?
together.
I will go to A.
Okay, who said B? Who said
Me.
B? If you said B, raise your hand. Who said B? Okay, Maria, you're right. Okay, has anybody ever worked in a kitchen before? Has anybody worked in a very fancy kitchen before?
No.
Okay. Who is the person at the very end of the dishes? Is it the most junior person or the
Uh,
most senior person?
That's the chef.
it's like we have a
The chef
same
for
but then
checking their food.
Yeah. Usually the head chef is at the end of the kitchen line, right? Before it goes out to the dining space, the head chef is looking at each dish and checking if everything is okay before it goes out, right? So the last stage should always be the mentor. If you want to maintain the SLA quality, the mentor should be at the very last stage because that is where the output then goes, right? So you can kind of think of it this way. If you're delegating as a mentor, your input now has just been simplified, right? But you're still responsible for the output. So you need to go at the very end of the stage, right? Now, let's say you have a very complicated process, right? You're in charge of this, and this. You still should be at the very end of that process, right? Because that is where you guarantee that the work done up until everything is correct. And this is how you train your intern as well. If they haven't done good work, then you can train them and say, this isn't good enough, okay? If you put the intern at the very last stage and they don't do a good job, who's going to know? Nobody will know, right? So it's never advisable to put the intern at the last stage of the delegation if you do sequentially, okay? You need to go last stage. If you don't understand, watch the movie Burnt with Bradley Cooper. He's like trying to be a Michelin chef, and he's always at the what's called the pass. The pass is where the kitchen meets the dining room, and that is where the head chef usually is. He's sitting there. He or she is watching each dish, making sure that each dish that comes on is done correctly. Their job is usually pretty simple at the end. Their job is just plating and putting on the garnishes. But they're there not to plate and put on garnishes. They're there to make sure that everything on the plate is exactly the way it should be. Okay? So remember that. If you have an intern of similar ZPD, you can parallel. If you don't have an intern of CBD, you should probably sequential it. Think about what happens before and then do it. Okay, now how can we apply this to what we've done? Let's go back to the board again on the Trello board, and let me show you something that we just saw. So I believe Cynthia was just mentioning something about her loyalty program, right? And this is great, okay? So what you can do now, Cynthia, is you can create a parallel delegation in this particular funnel. So let's say, wait, what was it? There's guest outreach, or no, sorry, it wasn't this. It was guest checkout. Sorry. Let me go to the next one. Guest engagement. Thank you. Guest engagement. This is Andre. Andre, so you currently do morning message, right? You can delegate B2 to Dista. So Dista can have a second thing that she says in the middle of the trip, right? It's a little bit sequential, but it's also kind of like in parallel because it happens sometimes between the input and the output, okay? So this is where your interns can help you out, right? You can assign more layers in the middle to different interns to engage. So maybe one intern will be in charge of suggesting food recommendations, right? Another intern could be in charge of suggesting something else. So they grab their support phone during their shift and they say, hey, by the way, have you got any food recommendations yet? And no, and so on and so forth. So you're essentially like building a sandwich now, right? You have your input, your first layer of bread, and then each person can provide a fill-in. Andre provides a morning message. Just provides asking about their trip and extension. Maybe Maria provides another layer, right? Maybe trip recommendations or like sending them a funny postcard or whatever it could be. So you're building essentially more layers into your sandwich, and then the final output is the last layer of the bread, right? That can be a good way to parallel delegate. That's one method, okay? The other method can be, let's say, I don't know, maybe you can actually ask them to fix an SLA, right? That would be totally in parallel, okay? So that would be, now I delegate what I used to do to you now, and now you are in charge of maintaining this SLA. That is a parallel delegation. And you can try that as well. And if you do that, you just change the name on the card to the name that the person will be doing, okay? So that's it. I want you guys to think about this in a systematic way. Think about your input, think about your output, think about which stages are in the middle, right? For Maria and Dista, who are a part of the community, trusted community thing, you can see the stages of a partnership. You need to do you need to collect the contacts, you need to do the outreach, you then need to do the meeting, and then you do the partnership, right? Now, if I can delegate it to, let's say, Maria, that means she has high ZPD. If she can do the entire process from input to output all on her own, right? She can just take time, energy, and skill and produce partnerships. That is a parallel delegation. I don't think Maria is at that point yet, but you know that's where we're hoping to get. But a sequential delegation is I take the input and then I break it down into layers. Okay, what is the first stage? What's the second stage? What's the third stage? What's the fourth stage? What's the fifth stage? And I give that person one stage to take care of. Okay? All right. I'll let you guys experiment with this, but what I want to see is I want to see Maria and Dista's names now on the Trello boards so that they're clear and everybody's clear what essentially their responsibilities are. And they can start seeing impact on their work as well. So when we add more layers into the sandwich, we can see a higher conversion rate or a higher guest satisfaction rate, okay? Whatever your goals are. Yes, okay, back to the chair.
Oh yeah, I will also get that. I was the chair. So I have a question for you. So, are they going to involve on the campaign or the pilot
Yeah.
first?
Yeah,
My question.
I think they should be involved in at least the SLA campaigns, right?
Oh, or-
So the very first thing any new person on your team should be exposed to is they need to have an OKR, right? And the OKR needs to support an SLA, and the SLA supports, internal SLAs support external SLAs through campaigns. So yeah, that's as soon as possible. Otherwise, we don't have really any delegation, do we? So start thinking about how to delegate, and then this is where you want to be. You want to be where you can create, as a mentor, parallel delegates as often as possible. Somebody that can kind of take the load that you've been doing. Then, as a mentor, you get to be more creative now. You get to think of, what's a campaign that I can do now instead of doing what I used to do? And then that's how you progress, okay? When you can fully delegate, you shouldn't be too busy anymore. And that opens up the space to think of, okay, what do I do next? At a certain point, Andre, you probably should have hundreds of campaigns, right? Or you should have hundreds of people working on campaigns, because this is how you scale. Let's say at some point you get 10,000 bookings a day, okay? So then your SLAs, you might need really thick layers of delegations within an SLA to fix, right? So you have an SLA on inquiry conversion, but then you probably need to start dividing it, right? By time, by channel, and all these other things. But it will be clear to your delegates, if you're working, let's say, on Airbnb in the morning shift, this is what your SLA is, and this is what the conversion rate looks like, right? And then you as a leader can see, and everybody else can see, who's doing their part and which shifts, which channels are not being taken care of, okay? So this system, you just gotta kind of think, project it out to like what it'll look like if it starts getting really big. It'll be beautiful. Right now, it's almost like you're having like a rice paddy and you just have like a single plot of land. But later on, you should be seeing like multiple plots over here, multiple plots over there, and start scaling out. Okay, that's pretty much it. But there should be a name attached to each particular person on your team so that we can see what it is that they are owning and what they are responsible for. All right?
Good, thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah. And please show me that by Monday. All right? By Monday next week, I'd like to see Maria and Dista's names on whichever SLA that they are essentially covering. And it could be inside of an SLA, that's fine, but we need to be able to see that. And also, give your new people an opportunity to innovate. So they should also have lists, right, where they can come up with ideas to improve certain things if they want to. So that way we allow for hospitality innovation to happen.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, sir, for that. I think the success indicator is about the end of process, end of the report of the SLA, which is it. It's yeah, we can see whether if the delegation is success or not, and also the activity inside on the SLA itself. Okay, so I think that's all. Thing we have already covered everything on the discussion on the Scrum today. Actually, we still have some other discussion, but maybe we can discuss it on the about the Facebook optimization. We can discuss on the inquiry workshop, and if you still have another things to ask, you can discuss it on as well on the Slack channel. So basically, it. I'm going to point who's the next